Welcome back for another edition of Our City. A few things going around the city of Elizabeth this week. On Wednesday, June 7th, around 5:30 in the evening, I'm going to join the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce at their Business After Hours networking event. This one will be held at the First Republic Lounge and Restaurant located at 1204 East Grand Street. For more information, you can call the Chamber at 908-355-7600. And on Thursday, June 8th, 9 o'clock in the morning, a grand opening ribbon cutting of Back to Motion, a new physical therapy office located on the second floor of 1171 Elmore Avenue. And on Saturday, June 10th at 9 o'clock in the morning, the Union County Fatherhood Initiative. The coalition's conference is entitled Fathers Making a Difference. The event's hosted by Community Access Unlimited. It will be at their facility, 80 West Grand Street in the city. For more information, please call Mr. Rod Spearman at 908-377-0143. And following that event at 10 o'clock in the morning, the Community Health Fair, hosted by the Department of Health and Human Services, will be located in front of City Hall on Winfield Scott Plaza. This event will feature free blood pressure, glucose, oral health screenings, educational booths, informational sessions, and much more information is provided. Please call our health department at 908-820-4250. And on Tuesday, June 13th at 9:30 in the morning, I'm going to attend our LEAD program's graduation ceremony. This is the former DARE program, where we teach young people to stay away from drugs and alcohol and bullying. It is going to be held at 600 Pearl Street, the Thomas Dunn Sports Center. For more information, please call 908-820-4050. If you need more information concerning these events or any other events, please call our Public Information Office at 908-820-4124. Please stay with us after these messages, where we're going to talk with Chamber and EDMO folks about tourism and our city.
Offering everything you could want from college, including a life. Kane University.
Welcome back to our city, where I'm pleased to be joined by Miss Jennifer Costa, who is the director of EDMO, the executive director.
The executive director is actually the boss.
No, we're going to demote him today. And then we have Lauren Ferrigno, who's the marketing coordinator.
Yep.
And Gordon Haas, the executive director of the Chamber. Welcome.
And no, the CEO of the Chamber and the executive director of EDMO. Would they? Yeah.
I read the notes too fast.
That's it.
That's
so
okay.
You've all been on the show before.
Yes.
But so what else is going on that's new? We're going to talk about some of it, but we'll start with you, Jennifer, and tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. How long you've been here with EDMO?
So I've been with the Elizabeth Destination Marketing Organization for about 2 years now, and Lauren and I actually started about a month apart.
To the day.
Exactly.
Almost.
To the day.
To the day, the 23rd. And we've actually built this from the ground up with Gordon's direction and the visionaries from all of our hotels in Elizabeth, just trying to give people more of a reason to want to come to our city.
So Lauren, how are you doing with it?
Good. My job is kind of to go behind the scenes and make sure that everybody has access to the events going on in the city, the new things we're bringing in, all of the dining, the restaurants and nightclubs, the history, really anything that you can think of that's in Elizabeth. That's my job to get out to everybody digitally with, going with our branded term of GoElizabethNJ rather than the Elizabeth Destination Marketing Organization. That's kind of our government name. So for people to kind of get to know us, that's the best way to do that is with GoElizabethNJ.
And Gordon, it's been 20 years since
20
we
years
chatted about forming our own chamber?
That's correct.
Is it
20 years this past January.
Congratulations.
January 6th was our 20th anniversary, and it seems like it started yesterday, and we've come a long way. We just were named by NJ Biz as one of the 14th largest chamber in the state. So we've come a long way in those 20 years. And
From nowhere to the 14th
from nowhere
largest.
to the 14th largest.
Now,
We're
I
the
hope
youngest.
there's more than 14 chambers, I take it.
There are about there are about 500 chambers in the state of New Jersey. Yeah, every little town has one, but no, we've really come up that list. We're the youngest in terms of data foundation of all the chambers on that list, on the top 25 that NJ Biz puts out. And
Now,
we're
it was
very
your
proud.
idea to get, not only when Jennifer and Lauren joined, but it was your idea to start the process of EDMO.
Well, we went back
tell us about that,
10
Gordon.
years ago. We did Shop, Play, and Stay at 13A, and that was a very successful program for about 3 years. We had some state money, and at the end of that 3 years, the state withdrew the grant that they had. We were finished with our grant, and we couldn't continue it, and it was very frustrating to me. So I spent a couple of years talking to the hotels, talking to you, talking to other people in the city about how we could become self-sustaining and create a destination marketing organization that didn't need the state funding. And basically came up with the idea of having the hotels reach out to you and ask for a tourism fee to be established. And the city council was kind enough about 3 years ago to create that. It took me about a year to do all the legal ramifications of that action, and hired both of them February 23rd, March 23rd, 2 years ago. And we've been going since, and we've accomplished an enormous amount in those 2 years.
No, I think the chamber and what you've done with the vision is absolutely phenomenal, and I congratulate you on that effort.
Thank
you.
you.
So Jennifer and Lauren, EDMO's been around for a little over 2 years. One of the notes here is the biggest accomplishment so far.
Oh my goodness.
So do you have different ones, and if you don't, then I'm going to...
No, I think it speaks for itself. On the table
They're
here are
right
sitting
there.
2 awards from the state of New Jersey. The New Jersey Tourism Association is recognizing Elizabeth as being trendsetters for the rest of the state in terms of our digital outreach and the way that we're marketing to bring people here, as well as the partnerships and the grassroots level of getting our local partners involved, our restaurants, our historic sites, and everybody in between. So our 2 biggest accomplishments would have to be these awards.
Tell us about those apps that we have, Lauren.
So, yeah, we have a free mobile app that's for iPhones and Androids. It's GoElizabethNJ, and basically you have everything in the city of Elizabeth at your fingertips. So you have points of interest when it comes to your restaurants. You can see on the map where you are in relation to where they are to get you there at the fastest possible route. The local events that are coming up with links to the local hotels, so that if you are coming from out of town, or if you just want to make a staycation kind of weekend out of it, you can definitely do that with the hotels that are in the area. Different promotions that we have going: stay the night before your flight. As you know, half of Newark Airport sits in Elizabeth. People don't typically know that. They think it's all Newark. They think they claim the land, but we have 48% of it. People can stay and start their vacations early, you know, kind of relax and cut loose before they go. So we have different things that's going on, and the app is just something that really just puts it in everybody's hand, and it's free to use, and it's a reflection of our website.
So Jennifer, one of the things we've always talked about is, I think I had a bet with you and Lauren about
Yes.
getting tours to come to Elizabeth.
Can you tell everybody who won that
Yeah, I
bet?
think you guys won the bet just the other day, right? So you met with some individuals about bringing new tours to Elizabeth. So tell us about this.
Absolutely. So over the course of the past year and a half, we've been traveling the country, attending different trade shows. And this is where groups are now starting to know about Elizabeth as the alternate destination to New York City. So people are still wanting, New York City is America's #1 tourist destination, but we're 30 minutes away with an international airport. So people are wanting to stay in Elizabeth, and while they're here, let them dine in our restaurants, let them visit our historic sites. And so just this past weekend, we had Star Tours out of Princeton. They brought up 56 passenger bus, and they had people visiting all of our Hamilton sites. Alexander Hamilton, our $10 bill, he actually lived and went to school here. And so people are now traveling just to learn about Alexander Hamilton and what we offer.
Something to do with that play, too, I would imagine.
little bit.
That's it. That's
Little
it. And
bit,
we're
right.
even taking ads out in our playbill at the Hamilton, so people can learn about Elizabeth in the playbills. So
Oh.
yeah, we have a full page out there. So aside from that, we've been working with different reunion groups, smaller conventions for our hotels, student tour groups. There's even, what another show and tell. Student Tour Group is a national publication across America, and tour operators subscribe to this to learn about where they should bring their student groups, and they're actually writing about Elizabeth. They featured us in a whole itinerary of what's to do in town.
And that's actually how Star Tours found us. They were reading this magazine,
Yep.
they saw the itinerary, and they gave us a call, and they're like, oh wow, we had no idea something like this existed in Elizabeth, you know, so close to New York City. So now that Star Tour Group is one of 3 that have been booked to the city for
We
2017.
actually got a book written about Hamilton that talked about his history, that never had anything about his early days here. The first 9 months he lived in Elizabeth. To change the latest edition now has a whole section in it about Elizabeth and Hamilton that wasn't there before.
So, Lauren, when I was with you last Saturday and we talked with these 50-some people, 50 odd people, there were young people there, there were teenagers there.
Yeah,
and
there were families.
seniors there.
Yep, it was a good group of
and
people.
And it was a little bit of a walking tour as well. They went to the Snyder Academy, they had lunch in Elizabeth. By the way, Jennifer, I'd match the restaurants in Elizabeth against any city.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
No question.
No
We're
matter,
cultural dining.
No matter what food you
Yeah.
want,
Yep.
you could find it here.
That's it.
And so when I chatted with the people, they were very inquisitive. They wanted to know more about Elizabeth, and they had a tour guide. So how did it go from your perspective?
From my perspective, it went well. I felt like the people kind of had a hunger for things that they didn't know that they didn't know. You know what I mean? So
No.
So they're coming to Elizabeth. They may have a preconceived notion about Elizabeth, but then, you know, they come here and they walk through history, literally walking through history, because all of our places are authentic. It's not replicas or anything. And they're seeing and able to touch, you know, these artifacts. And I think they didn't know that things were here. So after you left, you know, I got a lot of thanks for how great it was for the mayor to come out personally and say hello. And also, I did get some follow-up questions on some of the history that you were talking about as well, about Hamilton, and if, you know, he and Aaron Burr fought over a girl, which is, it's my theory, so I like to say that's true.
I was going to say that's not historically accurate.
No, that's my theory.
No,
that
well-
they met at Snyder, and that's what caused the duel. But
Well, I think it was over the financing system of the government.
I
you
know,
know,
I'm only kidding.
But that's quite all right if you want to believe that. I've never read that anywhere.
Alternative facts.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But they did. They
Conway?
They did have a great time, though. They were very happy. Once we got some food in them, they continued their tour. They walked past the courthouse. They saw the canyon. That was the gift from George Washington. And they went into the Snyder Academy. And then the museum tour guide of the Snyder Academy rode the bus with them and gave them a tour of the drive to Boxwood Hall, where then they split the group. And half of the group did a walk down East Jersey Street to the Belcher Ogden Mansion, as well as the Bunnell House, while the other group walked Boxwood Hall. So it was a good addition to the tour that they didn't know that they were getting. So overall it was good. There are a couple tweaks. It was our first tour coming in, but you know, it's only going to make us better, and it's going to make
So
Elizabeth
I owe you
more-
two dinner.
The first of
I think so.
I got to be
first
honest
of
with you.
many.
When I first became the mayor, I never thought we'd have tour groups coming through the city.
First of many, Mayor. We're going to have more.
I know that. We're going to take a break, come back and talk more about EDMO and destination marketing. Please stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages. We'll talk more about tourism in the city of Elizabeth.
We're an American original. Dependable, historic, nuanced, with all the comforts of home, even when you're just visiting. So we're celebrating for all that we've left untouched and all that we've changed. A place where the past meets the future. So consider this your invitation.
We've been celebrating here in Elizabeth for 350 years, and we're just getting started. Welcome back to our city. So Jennifer, let me say something about the tours. How do you get in front of the tour group operators? How do you get in
Sure.
front of, you know, a cruise line or an airline or something like that? How do you do that?
Absolutely. So there are industry trade shows that occur year-round across the country. And just last year alone, we were in 8 states and 4 countries promoting Elizabeth, New Jersey. So there were several hundred people that we actually met. It's almost like speed dating, one-on-one appointments, where we have a few minutes to learn about what the tour operator needs, and we sell Elizabeth, telling them what we can offer them.
And Lauren, have you both gone some of these things?
Yeah, there are ones that I go to. They let me out of the office sometimes. But no, there are some. Eventually the hope is, that I'll get more acclimated to the trade show environment so that, I can give Jen a break sometimes because she gets.
So tell me where some of
gets
these
hectic.
conferences are. Where?
So we've been in New Orleans, we've been in Atlanta, Orlando, where
Denver.
else? Denver, Colorado. We were in
Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky. We were in Israel, Portugal. We did webinars in Southeast Asia. We've done webinars in India. You name it. We're getting El Salvador as well just this year. And it's again having 30 minutes in front of tour operators that never heard of Elizabeth, but now they're considering us as that alternative cost savings to New York City.
So what kind of feedback do you get on these webinars?
They are blown away and they love it.
They love it.
They
So,
love it.
so you talked about some of the advertisement in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and some of the stuff that's been done. Talk about that Groups magazine you have in front of you.
Absolutely. So Groups Today is another national publication that tour operators subscribe to. And the buzz about Elizabeth has grown over the past 2 years that they actually awarded us as one of top 5 emerging destinations in America. And believe it or not, even in their upcoming edition or their featured edition of their Reader's Choice Awards, their readers were asking about Elizabeth, New Jersey. And here we were one of top 10 up-and-coming destinations. We were with Memphis, Tennessee, and Iceland, and even Cuba was mentioned.
This was in the world.
And this is worldwide, yeah. So we are definitely putting Elizabeth on the map, and people are wanting to come here, and we're very fortunate because we have a great product to sell. We have great restaurants. We have trending nightlife, hotels, the proximity to New York City. We have what every destination has. We just got to let people know about it.
One of the things too is we always like to say the Statue of Liberty is the #1 visited site in the state of New Jersey. They had 4.5 million visitors last year. Jersey Gardens Mall, where 45% of the people coming into that mall are foreign tourists, had almost 20 million visitors last year. 45% of them from around the world. And there are certain countries, we follow that with the mall as the top 5 countries. And it's amazing. You walk around the mall, you've done it, see the people pulling the suitcases and filling them up with things. People fly in on a Thursday and spend the weekend here and then go back.
We were voted one of top 5. We were actually the 5th best city for shopping in America. There was a national study done, and Elizabeth was on the map as #5 for best shopping, based on prices, the low tax, no tax on clothes and shoes.
So I saw Lauren a couple of weeks ago, and I told her I was in a Sorrento's restaurant in Elizabeth, having dinner with my wife and daughter. And there's a couple, 2 women, not a couple, 2 women were there, and they were going on a cruise.
I love these stories.
And they were having dinner there because they found it on a tourism site, because Sorrento's doesn't have a website.
Right. Yep.
And they just decided to go there because it was one of the restaurants recommended. And I was like, wow, they're getting off the ship to come
New Republic.
to Elizabeth.
There you go.
I love hearing stories like that because we actually heard another one about the kiosk that we have at the Mills at Jersey Gardens right outside the food court. It's basically a touchscreen replication of our website and our drone videos. So an owner of a restaurant, First Republic, comes up to us and is like, I had a family from Hawaii in for lunch on a Wednesday, or dinner on a Wednesday, one of our slower days. And they were just coming through the area. They had a flight to catch out of Newark Airport, and they had to kill some time, so they were at the mall, found First Republic, which is a Haitian cuisine restaurant, on the kiosk, and decided to come here. So people are discovering, they're figuring it out, and they're coming into town. So
what kind of new events we have coming up?
Oh, so many good things. We just actually had Rick's Magazine is a high-end auto exotic car show. We actually just had that this past
April 22nd.
And they're going to be back in October again doing another huge car show. We recreated
That was in the
Tokyo
parking deck,
Drift.
right?
Yes. We recreated the movie Tokyo Drift with Fast and the Furious, and there were over 300 cars.
From all over the metropolitan area.
It was phenomenal.
Tri-state area.
Phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
We had great feedback on that too. We actually got a comment on some of our social media posts about it, saying it was the best car show people have ever been to.
Yeah, and that's definitely trending within the car industry as being one of the best on the Northeast.
So it was actually the cars were lined up in the parking deck, and you could
Yep.
walk
You
through
could
the
walk
parking
through
deck.
levels of the cars. Also coming this July, we have a national qualifiers. Elizabeth, back in the 60s, was a huge boxing mecca, and we're actually privileged to be able to revitalize those old legends. And so there's a national company called Sugarbird Boxing. They will be coming the first weekend in July.
The end of June, the beginning of July.
July 2nd.
Right before the 4th of July.
And it's a national qualifications for amateur boxing, and we're looking forward to this. This is going to be bringing several hundred people to Elizabeth just for a boxing tournament. Something else that we're planning for 2018 is international softball tournaments. So they're definitely, producers are starting to look at us as an alternative location just outside of New York City where they can put on big productions.
They're talking about 75 different teams made up of at least 15 people. It's going to fill the hotels. They're going to come in on Thursday, have the qualifiers using city facilities as well as county facilities, games at night as well as during the day, and it's going to be very exciting.
It's going to bring business to
I was
our
gonna say,
restaurants.
we could easily host that between Elizabeth and the
Absolutely.
county.
We've been
Absolutely.
very cooperative. The county's been very cooperative with us as well on this, and it's amazing beginning to see these things happen. We get reunion groups that are coming and booking in the hotels because they've heard about it. Jen has made a great impression when she goes to these shows. That first show she went to in Kentucky, she bought a big Kentucky hat like they have at the Kentucky Derby.
And she wore it?
She wore it, and she wears it at
Or
every
she collect money for
No.
her home.
She wears it at every show, and people recognize the lady with the hat from Jersey.
And that's it. And now everybody at the trade shows, it says out of office embroidered on the big hat, and they know that's the new Elizabeth destination. It's
I
hysterical.
have to see this hat.
Oh, I
have brought
should
the
have brought it the hat.
I've
Next time.
never seen this hat. So is there partnerships with other New Jersey destination organizations?
Absolutely. With leading trends in the state, we've actually become very close, especially with the Gateway region. So our neighbors in Newark, Hudson County, Meadowlands area, we're starting to work collectively on multiple projects, as well as there's a new state tourism director, Jake Bergansky. So even at the state level, we've been supporting efforts. We're going to be doing some co-op opportunities where we'll be marketing with different regions and the state of New Jersey to help get us better exposure internationally.
Right.
So Lauren, Jennifer, where do you see the organization in 2 years or 4 years?
Oh my goodness. Well, let's just say Boston and the executive director of Boston's tourism and the Freedom Trail, they said we are sitting in their shoes 10 years ago. So we are well underway in leading tourism and getting groups to come.
We hope to have a walking tour similar to their Freedom Trail here in Elizabeth.
Right.
With all the history we have in Midtown, there is a walking tour. It's underutilized at this point. We've got some plans to create more buzz about it and create what we want to call history's heartline.
Lauren, isn't that walking tour in the app somewhere you showed?
It is?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can find the walking tour on the app, and you can find, all the different points. And when you're walking, you have the ability to, because it's QR code ran. So you're scanning the signs, and the signs are then, the phone is then telling you the historical significance of the spot that you're standing on. So rather than having to jump between apps, we integrated it into our app, so you can do that right from our app.
Right.
And back to that group that was here 2 weeks ago. They're coming back in October and July, right? They have more
Yep.
tours
Yeah.
booked.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And there's more tours coming, more tour organizations and
Right, that's
companies
just
coming.
one company bringing these tours
that's
in.
just one company, so
Right.
there'll
Yeah.
be other companies that could bring people here.
Yeah. Right.
Absolutely.
And the one tour guide, I think she said tickets are selling
Yeah.
really well for,
Yeah.
for the
Absolutely.
July and October one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're excited about it. It's exciting to show people what the potential that Elizabeth has.
When we saw
really
it
is.
advertised the first time in one of the books that Jen brought back from a convention, we sort of laughed internally, like, oh yeah, they're doing a tour of Elizabeth. The mayor said it could never be done, but here it is, and I wonder how many people are going to show up, and you saw 2 weeks
Well, you
ago.
know, Gordon, you're absolutely. When I say never could be done, nobody ever thought we could form a chamber either.
Right.
Everybody thought we had to be part of the Union County effort, and
Absolutely.
we
I
formed
mean,
our own, and
we're the fourth largest city in the state, and
Right.
we've got something to talk about, and our slogan slogan is, it all starts here. And this is where the state of New Jersey started. And we have a great history, and it's time to tell people about it. And that's what we're trying to do.
And by telling those people, you mentioned the kiosk, but we also have other things. Website. Talk about some of the phone numbers, social media.
Absolutely.
Talk about some of those things that we're doing as well.
The main place to look for information is at GoElizabethNJ.com. As well as on the mobile app, which is GoElizabethNJ. And there listed is all of our events. If anyone locally has a restaurant that isn't partnered with us, it's free. All of our marketing for our local partners is all free. We just need to know about it, gather the information so we can help promote it. So we support the efforts of our local restaurants.
Before we finish, Mayor, I want to just tell you a statistic that we're doing that we have not been publicizing yet, but it's time to start talking about it. U.S. Travel Association gives us a formula that we can figure out the value of tourism to the economy of the city of Elizabeth. Based on the last statistics that we have from April, the value, and that's taking the average daily rate of the hotel and taking 50% higher than that. We really anticipate that people are spending more than half of the hotel rate here in Elizabeth, especially if you go to the Jersey Gardens. You're probably spending $400 or $500 a day extra. But the average rate is 126, the economic impact is $126,300,000 on the city of Elizabeth. If you go to $500 a day, if somebody's spending that at the mall, it's $383 million for the city of Elizabeth. Based on the people employed in tourism, based on all of the things that go along with the tourists coming, that's an amazing number. We were blown away when we did this.
It was probably zero 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I mean,
well, there was always some.
There was always something, but
right before the mall, probably nothing. Just the course of the hotels, and we've seen the hotel occupancies going up month after month after month,
and year over year,
based on the year-to-year.
So the hotels are happy for this with this arrangement.
We hope so.
We hope so. We hope so.
So I want to thank the three of you for joining us on the show. I want to thank you, Gordon, for the leadership in the chamber over the 20 years, the creation of the vision, and Lauren and Jennifer for not only taking that vision but running with it and making Elizabeth a great team. Thank you.
Thank you.
For Mr. Gordon Haas and Miss Jennifer Costa, Miss Laura Ferrigno, I'm Chris Bolwage. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.
Sometimes you learn by helping others learn. Kane University.